psychology. My specialty is working in recovery and emotion regulation, helping people to regulate unwanted emotions, but to do it organically. So I am going to be sharing a little bit about my life with you and how I got on this path, and then I'm going to teach you 3 exercises that will teach you how to organically regulate and disappear unwanted emotions such as fear, anxiety, depression, sadness, whatever that is for you. My intention is for you to understand that there are ways for us to self-soothe. And this is information that we don't have readily available for us. So that's my mission in life, is teaching people how to organically self-soothe. So let's get started, shall we? Yes? Okay, so self-soothe technique number 1 goes like this. I want you to cross your feet at the ankles. Very good. Extend your hands out in front of you. Cross them at the wrist. Flip your hands so they're saying hi to each other. Hola! Hola! Now let them hug. Now bring them in. Very good. If you can't do this, feel free to do this. But if you can do this, that's great. So now I'd like you to relax into your chair. Just relax back into this posture. And this is what we call the calming cross. So just close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Very good. Slowly open your eyes, but keep this posture. Please hold this position. And just pay attention to what starts to happen to your body as you're holding this position. And as you're holding this position, I'll start sharing with you what it is that I do and why I'm here. So the first thing I want you to know about me is that I grew up with Big Bird. I grew up with Oscar, and I grew up with the Cookie Monster. And when I say I grew up with these characters, I was one of the first actors on the PBS hit special Sesame Street. I was on episode 3 of season 1, and I remained on the show for 4 years. Being on Sesame Street was an amazing experience for me, but it was really an emotional roller coaster. And the reason why it was an emotional roller coaster is because during the day when I was at Sesame Street, I really was happy and I had an opportunity to be a normal person. But when I went home, I was dealing with emotional and physical abuse from my mother and sexual abuse from my stepfather. So as you can imagine, I was on an emotional roller coaster every day. Happy, sad. It started at the age of 4. By the time I was 7, my nervous system was so whacked out from the ups and downs that I went into a deep depression, and I just chose to stay sad. And as a result of my sadness, I got fired from Sesame Street at the ripe age of 7. I was already fired from my first job. And then I went into a deeper depression, and I just cried. I spent a lot of time crying. And I didn't understand why I couldn't stop crying. I didn't know that I was really at the time clinically depressed, and there was no help available. By the time I was 11, I was taken away from my mother, thank God, and I was placed into foster care. On my first night in foster care, you guys can unfold if you want. I just wanted you to really get a sense of what that exercise feels like, and I'll explain the science behind it when we get to that after the story. But my first night in foster care, I found myself in the bathroom crying so loud I was afraid I was going to wake up everyone in the house. So I ran into this little area where the towels were, and I put the towels over my face, and I just started crying, like from a place I've never cried from ever since, thank God. But I remember when I was crying, I got so mad at myself. I thought, why can't I stop crying? And I said, one day when I grow up, I'm going to figure out how to stop crying, stop being angry, stop being mad. Like, I'm going to find a way to be a superhero. and disappear undesirable emotions. Like that was going to be my superpower. I was going to get rid of unwanted emotions. And today, that's basically what I do. I teach people how to dissolve, first distinguish and then dissolve undesirable emotions. I work as a primary therapist at a luxury recovery center in Malibu. And I want to say first that I am not anti-pharmaceuticals, okay? I do believe that sometimes you have to swallow a pill to heal. I absolutely believe that. But despite that belief, I know for sure pills do not teach skills. And that has been my life mission. So the work that I do at the Recovery Center is to teach people how to organically heal. Now, 70-80% of our clients are on medications for the purpose of healing. And out of that 70%, I'd say 30% work in the medical field. They are doctors, physicians, surgeons, dentists, nurses, and they have huge drug problems. As a matter of fact, we have one of our houses that's been designated specifically for medical health professionals. And one of my jobs one of my accountabilities is to meet with people after they've completed the detox process, and what I do is I acquire data through a narrative therapy process, and that's just a fancy way to say that I collect information to build a timeline of their life. And what I've learned when working with people in the medical profession specifically is they all have two things in common as I'm collecting their data. There's two consistencies. The first consistency is that they really worked hard to be qualified and educated and able to care for other people. Like they really worked hard. They grad school, internship, residency, fellowship. Like they really worked so hard to be able to take care of people. And that just touches my heart. But then the second thing I noticed consistently is none of them made any plans to ever take care of themselves. Nothing. Especially not their mental health. When I see that, it makes me want to cry because I know that journey. I know what it's like to go to grad school and take the boards and then have to pass this exam and that exam and working with patients all day long. I'm lucky if I get 30 seconds in between my patients sometimes to put food in my mouth. I know the hustle, I know the grind. But the only thing that stands between me and the doctor sitting across from me, shaking because he's just in the last day of his detox, the only difference between me and that human being is that I made it my business to learn how to take care of my mind. That's the only difference. I made it my business to learn how to interrupt the neurotransmitters and all of those hormones that are activated when we're emotionally upset. I don't even let myself get to that point because I know what the red flags are. So then I interrupt the process before it happens. And so that's what I've spent my entire life learning how to do, is to interrupt that process. And that's what I teach my clients. So I'm here today with you. I accepted Omar and Elvira's invitation for two reasons. One, it's my life work to remind every person I come across, take care of you. Take care of your mental health. And the second reason I'm here is because it is my privilege to teach you some really fun, cool exercises that will allow you to take care of your health. So I taught you one, which was the calming cross. It seems a little uncomfortable, but it's scientifically proven that that calming cross will reset your neurochemistry of your brain. It resets your brain. So let's everyone do it again. I want to make sure you got it. We're going to cross your feet at the ankle. You're going to cross the hands, yeah, hola. Grab the hands and then pull them in towards your chest. Very good. And if you can't do it crisscross like that, just cross it over your chest. Oh, you got it. Yeah, very good. Make sure you cross your ankles, okay? This right here resets the chemistry in your brain. If you are upset, if you had an unpleasant conversation with someone, put yourself in this posture. In between clients, whatever you're doing is beautiful, yes. And you will start to feel, are you feeling the calmness when you do it? Yeah, it really works. It actually has the same impact, it stimulates the same neurotransmitters as Valium. Guess what? You didn't have to take a Valium. So we don't have to worry about you sitting across from me at the recovery center one day, right? If you learn how to self-soothe again. Okay, you can uncross. That's the first thing I want to teach you. Next thing I want to teach you is how to organically stimulate both hemispheres of your brain. Why is that important? Because when was the last time you stimulated both hemispheres of your brain? Right? Almost never. But we need the contralateral perception. We need our brain, our right and left brain to work together. So this is another really fun one. I suggest you do it in the morning before you get out of bed, okay? Put your thumb out. Wiggle that thumb. Now I want you to trace the number 8 as though it's lying on its side. Just keep your eye on your thumbnail. It may be a little challenging at first because we're not used to working both sides of the brain. Keep your eye on your thumbnail. Very simple. You're activating both hemispheres of your brain. Okay, now switch. This is where it gets tricky, guys. Whoa. Alright? You can feel there's something happening, right? You gotta push a little harder to make it work. You want to trace the number 8. Okay, very good. And the last thing that I want to teach you is my favorite. Now, when I teach you this exercise, what you're going to learn how to do is reset your parasympathetic nervous system, the acronym is PSN, parasympathetic nervous system. Why is that important? Well, when we have any kind of an emotional breakdown, our emotions reside in our parasympathetic nervous system. That's where they go. So if you can reset it, it's like you're giving your parasympathetic nervous system a little bath, right? Why not? Also, what I'm going to teach you will help you create something called DHEA, organically. Now, most of you who have heard of DHEA, you've heard of it, your doctor might have prescribed it for you in synthetic form, yes. You're going to also learn how to make it organically right now. And then the other thing this exercise does is it helps you reset your heart rate variability. Why is that important? Because when you can regulate your heart rate, it keeps you from being predisposed from things that are caused by stress, diseases that are stress related, which is pretty much all diseases, okay? Because when you make DHEA, it's the enemy of cortisol, right? Cortisol, DHEA. They fight, and DHEA always wins. It's the dominant hormone, okay? And it's a vitality hormone. So you're going to learn those, you're going to get those 3 benefits out of this next exercise. And when you see how easy it is, I hope that you'll want to do it all the time. Because for every 5 minutes that you do it, it stays in your system for 12 hours. And it doesn't have a shelf life, and it's accumulative. So if you do it for 10 minutes, you've created 24 hours. If you do it for 20 minutes, you've created 2 days. If you build it up enough, you stock it up, when cortisol shows up, the stress hormone, it has nowhere to go because they occupy the same receptor sites. So if you can stay stocked up in DHEA, your threshold for nonsense becomes really high, and it's hard for you to get upset, okay? I was at the airport one day, and my daughter, I guess the TSA lady was being rude to me, and my daughter's like, I can't believe you let her give you so much attitude. I didn't even notice. It's not even on my radar. I can't remember remember the last time I raised my voice, and I'm someone who was once arrested for anger issues. Yes, I went to jail for beating someone up because I was such an angry human being. But since I've been living this work, I really honestly can't tell you that. I don't remember when I last raised my voice. I'm all stocked up with DHEA, so without further ado, I'm going to teach you this exercise, and it is my greatest wish that you make this a huge part of your life, okay? So please close your eyes. Take your right hand, put it on your heart. Where our touch goes, our attention flows. Using your index finger, I want you to draw 2 nostrils on your heart, right? Like pretend your heart has a nose, and you're going to draw 2 nostrils. Once you draw your nostrils, please lower your hand. And then I want you to breathe through your heart's nostrils. 5 seconds in and 8 seconds out at a pace that feels comfortable for you. 5 seconds in, 8 seconds out. At a pace that feels comfortable for you. Breathing through your heart's nostrils. 5 seconds in and 8 seconds out. Now, as you continue to breathe through your heart's nostrils, using your imagination, I want you to get present to a time in your life where you were overwhelmed with compassion or gratitude. And I want you to pretend it's happening all over again for the very first time. As you continue to breathe through your heart, 5 seconds in and 8 seconds out. Okay, please slowly open your eyes. You guys feel that feeling? That's called DHEA. It's the vitality hormone. People take medication to get that feeling because it's very peaceful. But you don't have to take medication. You can organically create that for yourself, anytime. I do it when I'm driving, of course, with my eyes open. I do it before I go to sleep at night. I put myself in calm cross. And I breathe through my heart, and that's how I fall asleep at night. I deserve that. You deserve that. Now, my last superhero, organically emotion regulation tip I'm going to give you. It's called perspective. Because one thing I've learned is that if we can shift our perspective on things that happen to us in our lives, we shift the way that our body processes the experience that happens. And when we can shift that, we can shift the impact it has on our bodies. It's the difference between being happy or being stressed out. So the next time you encounter a stumbling stone, I invite you to shift your perspective and say, oh no, that wasn't a stumbling stone, that was a stepping stone. The next time something happens that you don't like, don't go and say something happened to me. Stop and shift your perspective and say, thank you, something just happens for me. Shift your perspective, because when you have a new view, you are in the driver's seat of ongoingly creating a healthy, vibrant you. Thank you for your time. God bless you.